staying with us this morning and wishing you a very, very wonderful week ahead. I want to continue with our creative and innovation spirit talk, where we try to um, encourage you to be more creative, knowing that creativity and innovation is a skill set for the future. Knowing that in whatever you do today, in whatever you are to do this week, one thing that will distinguish you is your ability to be creative and innovative. And on this broadcast, we try to bring to you information, nuggets from our book, Becoming Creative and Innovative, to enable you to understand the elements that support creativity and to also enhance your capability to become more creative in your day-to-day assignment. And so today we want to talk quickly about, you know, um, what are the criteria that can be used to measure creativity, because sometime last week we talked about the fact that you can come to a point where you begin to feel as if you are no longer creative. And we made it to understand that there is a way you can revive your creative spirit. There is a way you can spark up your creative spirit. So you know have you wondered, looking into history, have you wondered, where knowledge emanated from? Have you wondered where, the ability to write came from? Have you wondered where, um, how this language that we speak, the English language, for instance, your native language, for instance, how it came about? You know, how it came about such that, your parents were able to transfer the understanding of what they are saying, or rather what they were saying to you, a newborn babe, and you come to understanding that language. How did it come about? Now, looking at our world as well, you know have you imagined how the I'm not talking about the creative experience of God or the creatures of God per se. I'm talking about those things that we men, humanity, um, have come to create as part of the world existence today. Have you wondered, for instance, aeroplane, how did it come about? Like we talked about last week. Have you wondered, the building, that is, being designed and being constructed for us to have shelter? How did they come about having that knowledge, to put those things together and to serve the purpose in which it is serving now? So there are a lot of things that we can leverage the creative spirit to do. Now, that is the point I'm making this morning. Everything you see that somehow you cannot fully comprehend or explain is a function of creativity and innovation. And permit me to tell you this day that creativity and its spirit is given is given by the creator of the universe. Is given by the creator of the universe. If you doubt me, you can ask Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs was asked a question some time ago, let me see. I think we had that quote in chapter 3 of this book. It's chapter 3 of chapter 4. Um, yeah, I think it's chapter 4. Okay, just a sequence. Okay, yes, chapter 4. You know, Here we quoted Steve Jobs here. And what did he say? He said creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they did not really do it. They just saw something. It seemed obvious to them, after a while. What does that mean? It means that, you know, um, you get an impression, okay? You get an impression in your spirit, and from there, you continue working on it, and soon enough, you know, it becomes very clear to you. It becomes very clear to you. We can trace this back to the history of creation. Okay, for those of us that are very familiar with the Bible, and even the Quran talked about Adam and Eve. Okay, if you are familiar with that story, you will understand that a time came when the Bible made us understand that God created the animals, you know, and after creating these animals, God took these animals to Adam, and it was said that Adam named those animals. And whatsoever Adam named them, that was God already had in mind to name them. So you discover that for that to happen, there was some level of coordination, there was some level of comeliness, there was some level of connection between Adam's spirit and the Creator's spirit. Okay? There's a level of coordination. Now, as you are now, let me give you an Adam's challenge. Can you name 50 names of birds and names of animals without googling them? Can you do that? Name 50 names of birds and 50 names of animals without googling them. Do that in a video and you win a fabulous prize from me. Do it in a video and share with me, and I guarantee you I will send you a prize. Now, you will agree with our position that if you can have the wisdom and insight to understand and name these creatures, you can access the spirit of creativity and innovation that is not common to the man of our generation. Because I tell you, a few days back, I was watching Discovery Channel, and they're talking about the fact that the world is in a crisis mode, climate change. Beyond the issue of the climate change, they made a projection that if humanity were to continue to be in existence for another 1 million years, that the earth will be subjugated by the sun. Okay? Now, the implication of that is a repeat of what sciences also talked about, the going extinct of dinosaurs. That a time came where meteors, from above the earth fell to the earth with massive uh, nuclear like uh, effect on the earth that destroyed the universe and made dinosaurs to go extinct. Now, but what we are trying to bring about this morning to you is the fact that for you to be creative and innovative in a level that is above par, that in a level that is above the average person, that is above the average man, you need to tap into a spirit, because creativity and innovation is a spirit, and that spirit emanates from the creator. The spirit emanates from the creator. So you must be able, to find yourself connected. Whatever medium you use, it is important that you find yourself connected to that environment that enhances your coordination and comeliness with the creator. Now, for us, as a Christian, we believe that Jesus is that way that connects us, to that source, to that power, to that creator. And if you're a Christian or a Muslim, whatever medium that you use, or you are even a traditional worshiper, whatever medium that you use, it is critical that you find your way in creating such an environment where you can tap into the creative spirit of the Almighty. It is available. It is available. Because if you check the world today, the more we are going far away from the creator, the less our creativity and innovation products, our creativity and innovation outcomes are becoming less by the day. In this book, we try to look at, the fact that, um, the fact that creative outcomes prior to this generation, in the 16th, 15th, 17th centuries, and the creativity and innovation outcomes of this generation of the 19th and 20th centuries, when we call the fourth, the third, the fourth, the fifth industrial revolutions, which can we say is really um, a bit more greater in terms of impact. And in our research for this book, we discovered that the creativity and innovation outcomes of the 15th and 16th centuries, were considered to be much more impactful to human existence. They were considered to be much more impactful to human existence, and we kind of try to list some of them. The first one that was recorded is printing press, which was in 1450. It was invented by Johannes Gutenberg in 1450. Now, why is it that it was considered to be the most impactful of all creativity and innovation outcomes? Because it allowed literacy to expand. Without printing press, majority of the world today will have still been ignorant, or will have still been unable to be literate, to be able to read and understand issues. So the social media wouldn't have been a factor as it were today. So that's why printing press was considered as very, very impactful. Then the second one that we have in our list here in this book, Becoming Creative and Innovative, is vaccination, which was invented in 1796 by Edward Jenner. Now, why was it considered to be more impactful? Because it protected people from disease. And this brings us to the point that, when COVID-19 came and people were like, it was pandemic, it is not pandemic, because they felt it was an organized, um, biological effect, or biological strategy to reduce the population of the world. Now, COVID-19 is not the first disease to have come to mankind, to have, come in the way that it came. Okay. So that being said, we can't go through all of them, but you can get the book and see what you can make out of it. But the big point that we're trying to make here is, how do you um how do you measure yourself, okay, to be sure that you are actually creative and innovative? How can you measure yourself? What criteria can you use? I mentioned earlier on that we try to look at um, the creativity and innovation outcomes of the 16th and 15th centuries versus the creative and innovative outcomes of the 19th and 20th century. And we conclude that those of the previous, centuries, were considered to be a bit more impactful. So we try to look at, okay, who were those persons, in human history, that we can say, in addition to whatever that, you know, in addition to what they were able to achieve in terms of, creativity and innovative products. And we asked, that question. Let me share it with you this morning, so that you see um, what this guy is saying. Okay, so you can see it now here. So we asked the first question: who were the most creative persons in human history and their inventions? And what we got was, the first person was Leonardo da Vinci. He invented the bicycle and the diving suit. Okay. The second person is Isaac Newton. He invented the laws of motion and universal gravitation. The third person was Thomas Edison, we invented electric power generation, motion picture. Uh, then the fourth one is Alexander Graham Bell, who founded the telephone. And of course, the fifth person is a very controversial person in the name of Nikola Tesla, who founded alternating current electrical system. Now, these persons lived in the 16th, 17th century, okay, and they were considered this creative. Now, what about in our generation? Who are those that we could say, that were uh, were much more creative and innovative, you know, and we have people like uh, Elon Musk. Elon Musk funded Tesla, electric cars, and SpaceX. I think we used him as an example last week. Then we also have the person of Jeff Bezos, who is the founder of Amazon e-commerce. Then we have Mark Zuckerberg, who founded the Facebook social media account platform. Then we have Larry Page, who founded Google search engine, and Steve Jobs, uh, who founded Apple company or Apple products. So these persons, were considered, creative because they were able to uh, tap into something that is, you know, original, something that is above the normal, the normal person or the average person. And so, as we wrap up this video this morning, let's quickly, because the object of this presentation is to is to share with you, what you can use, what criteria you can use to really, measure your creativity and innovation spirit. And so one of them is originality. One of them is originality. The degree to which an idea is new and unique, is what can be used, what was used to measure, these people that we have just shared with you, the likes of Elon Musk in our generation, and even those that were considered creative in the 16th, 17th century. Originality, the degree to which an idea is new and unique. So always strive to be original in your ideas. Now, I tell people, don't worry when somebody says, you share an idea with somebody and the person says, uh, you know, it's not coming back to you and is going ahead to implement it. Or maybe you share an idea with somebody and the person come back with you and goes ahead and do something like that. And you begin to conclude that it was your own idea that the person was implementing. Because I tell people, I say, ideas are like frequencies. They are up there. What is required is for you to tap into that particular frequency. They are like radio stations. If a radio station is 95.1, anybody that tuned his or her radio to 95.1 will get a particular frequency. And that is how ideas are. If you're able to tune your thinking, like they used to say, wear your thinking cap. If you're able to put on your thinking cap and tune it to a particular direction, intensely, you will attract the frequency in the form of an idea, or in the form of a solution to a particular problem, based on the frequency that you were tuned to. Then the next criteria that can be used is value, the usefulness or worth of the idea in solving a problem, existing solutions, value. And that is what we teach people always. Always ensure that you are someone of value. You are someone of value. Whatever you do, whoever you come across, endeavor to make sure that you leave the person with something of value. It could be the way you relate with the person. It could be in your words. It could be in your relationship, in your activities. Always be the one that will leave the most value with people. And the next one is feasibility, the ability to turn the idea into a practical and functional product or service, feasibility of the idea. And again, this is critical for entrepreneurs. And that is why we're going to be launching something very, very soon. Very, very soon. Just watch out for it. We're launching something very, very soon. Because we understand the challenge that startups face. And the time has come for more support. Now we have seen a lot of entrepreneurship hubs, tech hubs here and there, but something is still missing. And that is a gap that we are coming to close with what we're going to launch very soon. So just stick to this page, continue to come back and watch this video. We'll be launching that between now and end of the week. We'll be sharing more information about that solution that we're bringing to further, liberalize the startup ecosystem, to further provide the network, the support system for startups across the country and all over the world. So watch out for it. We'll be launching it out very soon. So the next criteria that you can use to gauge whether you are becoming more creative and innovative is the impact that you are contributing to your society, to your community, to your country, or even to your organization where you work. What impact are you making? The extent to which idea has influenced or changed since you were engaged. What impact have you brought? What change have you brought to the organization? What positive influence have you brought into the organization, into your workplace, or into your business? The impact is critical in life. Then the last one is persistence. And we tell people, startups essentially, that you started a product today, you started a business today, and it failed does not mean that you're a failure. Many a times, most people get discouraged. Most people get, overwhelmed because maybe they tried the first, the second, and the third, and the fourth. But let me tell you, every successful business person that you see today was a product of a failure. Was a product of a failure. Because failure is not final. Failure is not a state of being. Failure is a process. And for many people, they take advantage of failures to build back better. They take advantage of failures to build back better, build back their business better, build back their life better, build back their family better. So failure is not final. Do not, because you fail, you go back to your shells, you go back to your comfort zone. No. That you fail is a sign that you are doing well, because there is something that you are going to learn in that failure. And so persistence is the key. In whatever you do, ensure that you persist. Now, there are times that it could be so discouraging, there are times that it could be so challenging, but of course, it is in the moment of crisis that true leaders emerge. It is in the moment of crisis that, you become better, you develop products that can say, we have a lot of stories of that. Let me share the story of Zoom Communications very quickly so that we'll wrap it up there. During the COVID-19, Zoom, I know you must have heard about it, the video conferencing platform. Though it was created before that period, but because the company saw that need, for the fact that the time will come where people would like to have meetings online and they would like to see themselves in a more, easy and accessible platform, in a more convenient and well laid out platform where the UI and the US is very, very beautiful. And they kept on working on it. The founder kept on working on it with his team. And when COVID-19 struck, they cashed in on it. They launched it big. And before you knew what was happening, the time came, that towards the end of 2020, the year 2020, Zoom total asset base was bigger. It was grossing over 48 to 58 billion dollars, which was bigger, way bigger than the combination of the total assets of the 10 biggest airlines in the world as at that time. Now, what happened? Because the time came that there was a crisis, and the company, took advantage of it. We also have individuals that have come out stronger and better as a result of crisis. And so, do not take because of the challenge that you are passing through, to give up. Persist, and you will surely perform better as you continue. All right. Thank you very much. We'll call it a day at this point, and we hope to see you in our next video uh, by midweek. Thank you very much. And don't forget, if you want to be mentored or you want to join our list of mentors to mentor small businesses, to mentor startups, kindly send us your email address or your phone number so that we can take note of you. Our Recruit Nigeria group, the support network that we are creating to support small businesses, to mentor 100 small businesses, will be kicking off officially by February 14th. And so if you want to be mentored, share your details with us, your phone number or your email address, so that we can take note of it. If you also want to be a mentor, if you know that you have been able to achieve some level of growth in your business, some level of stability, and you feel you have something to share with people, some experience you can share to help the upcoming startups, upcoming entrepreneurs, please, by all means, share your details with us. And of course, in the course of the week, we're also going to continue with our Entrepreneurs Lessons interview series, where we bring, uh, you know, experienced and erudite entrepreneurs that have weathered the storm, that have built resilient businesses, to come and share their experiences, so that you could learn one or two things from them. Last week, we brought one Cleopatra Oscar. Cleopatra Oscar is the Chief Executive Officer of, um, um, what do you call it now? What's the name of this company? Everfield Fort Integrations Limited. She was here, and she spoke very, very, very interestingly. And one of the key takeaways from that interview with Cleopatra Oscar, when she was asked what has kept her in business in the midst of the challenges that the economy across the world is having, the disruption of the economies, the global disruption of the global supply chain by COVID-19, by the climate change, and by the crisis in Ukraine and the crisis in Nigeria. And she said something that three things came out very strongly in that in that in her response. And she said one of the things that have kept her in business is quality service, uh, customer trust, and and there was one other thing she said. I think quality product or something, you know. And so watch out for that interview again this week. You can check the videos on our timelines or our handles, wherever you're watching this one from. Check our videos, and you'll see that video. It was, although network was terribly bad, the network for that very interview was terribly bad. But I can assure you, if you are patient enough to watch that interview, I believe you will learn one or two things from that interview. And so I want to thank you very much for sticking with us. Don't forget to share this video, so that one or two other persons that will be able to benefit from it. There are informations that are contained in this video that is very important to someone, that is going to be very helpful and useful to someone. I want to urge you to do that person a favor by sharing this video so that they can reach the person, and let the person learn that which has been established, ordained for the person to learn, and not just to learn it for keeps, but to learn it and be able to apply it in his life moving forward, and achieve the kind of success that he or she is dreaming about. On that note, Thank you so much, and see you in our next video.